What's happening, fellas? It's Ken Sr. It's a sunset of a kick-ass Saturday. If you look off in the distance, about 30 miles straight that way, we're at the Southwick National Motocross track today. Junior and I both took the Honda CR500s out for a couple of hot motos. The videos are on the channel, and we got back early. And I wanted to share with you my opinion and review of this 2011 Triumph Rocket 3. This is a bike that captivated me with the first time I saw one for a bunch of different reasons. One, it's the largest production motorcycle engine made. It's a 3-cylinder 2,300cc. They're literally coffee can sized pistons in this thing. It's absolutely massive. It's a huge machine, yet once rolling, it's just unbelievable how smooth this thing is to ride. Christy and I took it out for a ride last weekend, put about 100 miles on it, and kind of fell in love with it. And I think this is going to be one of our project bikes we're going to take to the next level. This thing's 100% bone stock. We purchased this from an estate sale. A guy had 13 bikes, and they rolled this one out last, and it had me at hello, no doubt about it. It's all black. It's badass. Triumph built this to, some people think to compete with Harley Davidson, but really this thing's in a league all of its own. It's the largest production motorcycle made, shaft driven, triple disc brakes off the performance Triumph models, the sport models. Kind of a traditional looking, almost a Harley Davidson like front end on it, almost looks like something off an old Harley Heritage Softail or something like that. But the gas tank is absolutely massive on this bike. I think it's like 6 gallons, and it's I don't know if the video's doing justice to how wide this thing is. The seat is super comfortable, all day comfortable. We've got the biggest touring saddle we can get for our dyno, and this with the backrest really helps my back. I had back surgery in 17, and this gives you a lot of lumbar support. Christy loves the back of it. She was super comfortable. And did I mention it's fast? 106 rear wheel horsepower in this model with I think 167 foot-pound of torque, which is probably more than my turbocharged Harley Davidson Dyna is putting down. Just a kick-ass machine. The fit and finish on it, the paint job, the chrome, the saddlebag protectors on the Rocket 3 Touring. Just a beautiful piece. This thing's 100% stock and original, and the first time I sat on it, it was 1,224 miles on the odometer, which 224 is a special number to me. I kind of felt like it was my friend Rob talking to me from beyond, but it's a whole nother story. But I was down in Daytona, I think it was around 2012, 13, and I got a chance to ride a Boss Haas and then the Rocket 3, and I really couldn't jive well with the Boss Haas. I didn't really feel comfortable on it. I don't know if it was the automotive rear tire I had on it or what it was, but the Triumph actually handles really well. And Christy and I like to do some sport touring and ride quickly, 75, 85, 90 miles an hour. We've done some street light racing down at different events, and this thing is just an absolute hoot. It's smooth, mountains of torque, super reliable. I haven't had from the minute we got on it, everything's worked 100% perfectly, and it's a 2011 model. Every electrical function is 100%, and there is a ton of hidden potential in this bike, and it's not hidden that deep into it. You can put an exhaust on this thing to free it up, and an intake and get another 35 horsepower, bring it up to around 165 horse. And if you Google Carpenter Racing Rocket 3, that's Carpenter like Jesus was a carpenter, and Carpenter Racing has an engine kit that'll put down 240 horsepower, 240 rear wheel, not pie in the sky, real world horsepower with an 899 quarter mile time, and it sounds like the hounds of hell. It's a massive bike, but they're putting down 240 horse with 220 rear wheel torque, foot-pounds of torque, which is absolutely ridiculous. This thing is actually, they've got videos online of doing roll-ons. Check it out. Punch in Hayabusa versus Rocket 3, and these things will actually smoke a Hayabusa from 50 to 120 or from 90 to 150, and they're super stable. Most of the Harleys I've had, including the Dyna and the FXR I have now, we have troubles with stability over 85. 85 to 100 miles an hour unless you change all the swing arm bearings and the motor mounts and do all kinds of stuff. This thing out of the box at 100 miles an hour was rock solid with Christie on the back. The tires on it, these are the original tires from 2011 with 1,200 miles. Even though the tread looks great on it, I am going to make some upgrades on this, and stay tuned because we're going to do a series on this. Like if you've been following us, you know we did a couple series on the Dyna builds, my Turbo Dyna. We did a 5-part series, and the FX DXT we did a 13-part series on that from mild to wild, a bunch of FXRs. This one here, the first thing we're going to upgrade is we're going with I did some research. The Avon Cobra Chrome is what most of the Triumph forums had recommended. It has Metzler's on it now, which came stock then, but now Triumph is running the Cobra Chromes right from the factory, and we got a set of those just showed up, the Avon Cobra Chromes. And again, these tires are 10 years old, so I don't like renting tires much past 5. I think there's a legal limit for dealers to sell a bike with over 7 years, unless it's sold as is. You're supposed to have tires that are less than 7 years old. So just from a safety perspective and to upgrade the performance and handling, we're going to go with the Avon Cobra Chromes. Did some research on the forks. There's a company called Traxion and Progressive and a couple other companies. We bought the Progressive fork kit with the Racecraft Gold valves for this. But I may not actually use this. I might put those up for sale because Traxion makes a cartridge kit that gives you a complete dampener rod change out, and it'll have compression and rebound dampening adjustability along with the spring preload adjustability. So we're going to go with the Traxion fork kit, Avon Cobra Chromes, and on the back there's several different companies that make shocks. We're an Öhlins dealer. I couldn't find any Öhlins, and I couldn't get anybody at Öhlins. I talked to Jerry and my boys at Öhlins. They don't really make a shock for this. Fox didn't have a shock out, although there is a company called PR2 that's going to look into Fox doing a shock kit for this. And talking to Traxion, they mentioned this company called Bitubo, B-I-T-U-B-O. So I went online and checked it out, and I think they're from the UK. They make a really awesome shock, and they're priced right about $450. So although we buy through Drag Specialties and Parts Unlimited, and I can get the Progressive 444s, are on back order right now, but the Progressives are our cost like $750. The Bitubos, our cost is around $450 on it. So the price, I don't cut corners when I do a project bike, especially when I'm going to be going fast on. So the Bitubos are less money, and I'm going to try both the Progressives and the Bitubos back to back and let you know what I think. And I might even do the Progressive fork kit and then the Traxion to see what the differences are. But in order to keep labor costs down, I'm sitting on the fence on that. So we're going to get the front suspension, the rear suspension, and the tires dialed in, change all the fluids, change the oil, change the antifreeze, coolant, and change the brake fluid front and rear. And the next step will be a Carpenter Racing 3-in-1 megaphone exhaust and the K&N air filter and airbox delete kit. That'll be part 2. And if things go well, I'm going to drop this off at Bob Carpenter's in New Jersey. I was doing a bunch of research on people that do speed parts of this, and Carpenter Racing is highly respected in the racing community and makes the best, and I'm not even going to say arguably, hands down the best head performance work, high compression pistons, cams, and complete packages that'll put down up to 265 horse. They're 240 horses, a turnkey, streetable daily rider package. I think I've heard on some of the forums they were talking about having to upgrade the gears a little bit in it for longevity, so I might have them do that. But can you imagine 240 horsepower and 220 foot-pound of torque on this thing? What a sleeper. It looks like a cruiser, yet it'll bang out a sub 9-second quarter mile, which is completely insane if you ask me. I think being a little bit heavier, the touring model, maybe it'll be a 9.5 second, but definitely under 10-second quarter mile, which is pretty insane for a bike like this. So the hidden potential on this bike is what really sparked my interest, and how good it is stock out of the box blew me away. I was looking at the new Triumph Rocket 3s. They make a TFC Triumph factory custom bike, which is pretty badass. Rocket 3, which I fell in love with that one, but that's more like a street fighter bike. This is something that, you know, at 56 years old, Christy and I can hop on this and cruise up to Americade, put our big leather bag on the back of here, and our gear in the bags, and go for a weekend trip on this. It is a touring bike, yet it performs like it can be set up to perform like a super bike. So it's got my interest. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys own a Rocket 3, this is a bike that really caught my eye. Now, I'm kind of jaded. I ride between 50 on the low end and 100 bikes probably on average per month of all types. A lot of them we do videos on, and I'm kind of jaded, and this is one that caught my eye. Just something about this massive kind of industrial capacity. Some people say it's like a tractor, the motor. A couple other things we want to do is we want to put a fairing with a stereo like this guy over here's got. Something about cruising with the tunes is really appealing to me. So we're gonna put a I did a bunch of research on the fairing, and the company called Reckless makes a fairing for this thing that has 4 stereo speakers in it, 400 watt amp. It's a Rockford Fosgate system, super high quality, gel coat black right out of the box. So we're gonna probably put we're definitely gonna put the Reckless Engineering Rocket 3 touring fairing on here. It looks just like our Harley Davidson Batwing, traditional style, and a kick-ass stereo. So those would be the things. Upgrade the suspension, service the brakes, put new tires on it, put an exhaust on it, and a fairing. And we'll do this in series. This will be the first video of the series, kind of giving you a little glimpse of what's to come. But stay tuned. This should be a really cool project, something I'm really looking forward to doing. Like I said, it's been a kick-ass day. I'm going home to watch the Supercross with Christy. Watching the sunset here up at the tower, about less than a mile away from the museum, and wearing my Gary Nixon Triumph racing jacket with his commemorative Daytona 200 win on there, so seems appropriate to wear that rod Triumph. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. And if you have some input on this Triumph Rocket 3, please leave something in the comments about your experience with them. I wish you could post pictures like Facebook of your bike on there to see what you've done. I've been on all the forums and looked at literally thousands of pictures of these. I don't sleep a whole lot. I wake up in the middle of the night. Since I was a little kid, I'd wake up and I would actually, my brother and I shared a bedroom, and I would go in the walk-in closet and read dirt bike magazines in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. And I'm talking like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and nothing's changed except for now I go on the internet and study motorcycles, and I've looked at literally thousands of photos of these bikes, and right out of the box, look at that. It has a real traditional badass cruiser look in it. It's, let's face it, the world's largest production motorcycle. Now the new ones are up to 2,500 cc's, but Carpenter told me he doesn't have a tuner kit. Tune Boy is what he called it, the company that they use to do the fuel injection mods on the new ones, so they haven't figured out how to get those up to 240 horse. This is a tried and true package. Carpenter's been doing these for 10 years, so it's almost a no risk proposition. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. So to summarize, brakes first will be serviced and all the fluids, new tires, fork kit, shock kit, and then we're going to work on getting some performance out of it right around the same time we put the fairing with the stereo on it. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.